Enfield Poltergeist.
In the late 1970s, a quiet North London suburb known as Enfield became the center of one of the most famous and perplexing poltergeist cases in history. The events that unfolded in a seemingly ordinary house at 284 Green Street continue to defy explanation and haunt the memories of those who experienced them. The Hodgson family, consisting of Peggy Hodgson and her 4 children, moved into the Enfield house in 1977. Shortly after settling in, they began to experience a series of inexplicable and increasingly terrifying events. It started with strange knocking and tapping sounds on the walls and ceilings, which they initially dismissed as routine household noises. However, as the days passed, the activity escalated. Furniture moved on its own, heavy objects levitated, and toys were flung across the room. The children, particularly 11-year-old Janet and 13-year-old Margaret, claimed to be the primary targets of the supernatural activity. They would often be lifted from their beds and tossed about the room by unseen hands. Terrified by these inexplicable occurrences, Peggy Hodgson turned to the police for help. Officers who arrived at the scene were baffled by what they witnessed. They reported seeing furniture move and hearing disembodied voices that seemed to emanate from nowhere. The police, unable to explain the phenomena, left the Hodgson family in a state of fear and uncertainty. News of the Enfield poltergeist soon spread, attracting the attention of paranormal investigators Maurice Grosse and Guy Leon Playfair. They arrived at the house armed with recording equipment, determined to document and investigate the mysterious occurrences. Over the course of their investigation, Grosse and Playfair witnessed a myriad of paranormal activity. They recorded hours of audio of Janet Hodgson speaking in a deep, guttural voice, claiming to be the spirit of Bill Wilkins, a former tenant who had passed away in the house years earlier. Bill's spirit seemed to be using Janet as a vessel to communicate with the living. In addition to the voice phenomena, the investigators captured photographs of levitating objects and documented the testimony of various witnesses who had seen furniture move and heard inexplicable noises. The Enfield poltergeist case gained widespread media attention and was featured in newspapers and television programs. Skeptics and believers alike debated the authenticity of the events, with some accusing the Hodgson family of staging the phenomena for attention and financial gain. However, the investigators maintained the veracity of their findings. The case took an even more disturbing turn when Janet Hodgson began to display signs of possession. She would enter into trance-like states and exhibit strength far beyond her normal abilities. During these episodes, she claimed to be inhabited by several spirits, including Bill Wilkins and a former elderly neighbor named Mr. Harper. As the events continued, the Hodgson family endured immense stress and fear. They felt trapped in a nightmare, with no clear way to escape the relentless paranormal activity that had taken over their lives. In 1978, after nearly a year of unexplained occurrences, the Enfield poltergeist phenomenon suddenly ceased, just as mysteriously as it had begun. Janet Hodgson returned to a relatively normal life, and the Hodgson family eventually moved away from the house on Green Street. The case of the Enfield poltergeist remains one of the most thoroughly documented and debated paranormal cases in history. Skeptics argue that the events were a hoax, while believers point to the extensive evidence collected by investigators as proof of genuine supernatural activity. To this day, the Enfield poltergeist case serves as a haunting enigma that challenges our understanding of the natural world and the limits of human knowledge. Whether one believes in the paranormal or not, the events in Enfield continue to be a chilling and unresolved mystery. Thanks for watching.